Hey YouTube, this is Reskin Amusement Park Fan 62. Today's video is going to be about how to plan a trip, especially with today's current circumstances. Now, first, you got to decide where you want to go. With what's going on, some things may or may not be open. So you have to really do your research before you start booking as far as what you want to do, what's open, stuff like that. For example, if you want to go to Dollywood, you have to see that you have to see when they open. And so forth. Now, once you discovered when they open, you have to see how many people is going to come with you. Is it going to be just you? Excuse me. Is it going to be just you? Is it going to be 5 of you, 10 of you, whatever? And from there, you can go on as far as motels and stuff like that, which I'll get to here in a second. Now, you got to stay in a motel somewhere. Now, you got to decide how many of you is going to, or what is your budget. Depending on your budget will really limit you on what you, where you will stay. Especially if you go to a touristy town like Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg, because those areas are very commercial-like, and they really get your money. So from there, you have to decide how you want to do it. For example, if your budget's, let's say, $200 a night, and you're staying for 3 nights, you can do that math. But you can, like, for example, if you want to stay in log cabins, do your research on that, because different log cabins are going to be different prices depending on how many of you there are. With the Dollywood cabins, those range from $150 to slightly over $500 a night, depending on the type of cabin you want, how many people can hold, and so forth. You can actually find all that information on Dollywood's website, which is dollywood.com, or for the cabins part, it's dollywood.cabins.com, I believe. Same with the resort. A lot of that information is on Dollywood's website as well, as far as reservations and stuff like that. I don't know if they will list pricing for the resort on there. I forgot to look before I made this video. But now, the next thing is this. Food. Now, we all have different tastes in food, such as some people like gourmet food, some people like casual food, some people like fast food, some people like sit-down dining, like go to a restaurant, you physically sit down, read a menu. Some people something like Subway. We all have different tastes. So the best thing to do is to improvise all of that in your trip. And be like, okay, for lunch we will go here, for dinner we will go here, and so forth. Now, also, with that being said, for breakfast especially, with the motel that you choose, if you choose a motel, look at their breakfast options. They will all have about some of the standard things like eggs, bacon, sausage, toast, cereal, stuff like that. Now, if that's your thing, go for it. But if that's not your thing, check out and see what breakfast type places they have. In Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, they got a bunch of pancake houses, which I've actually heard are really good. But that sort of stuff really brings in people because you don't see a lot of those typically. Now, I will say this with some of them. You have to really be careful with those because some may or may not take cards. So you have to really beware on what you can do. Now, the next thing is this, entertainment-wise. We all have our own forms of entertainment. Some people like books. Some people like movies. Some people like racetracks. Some people like dirt biking. Some people like amusement parks, etc. We all have our own forms of entertainment, which is fine. So the best thing to do with that is if you know some people in your group, let's say, want to go to the movies while they're there, maybe see a movie that they've not seen before, wanted to see, or they don't have it back home due to some reason, or something like that. It's fine to have a day in that where everybody does their own thing. Where one person may go to the movies, another one goes to an amusement park, one goes to a bookstore, etc. And that way you know that you're all going to be happy doing the same what you want to do. Because if everybody did the same thing, some people would be miserable. Some people may not even like it. So it just makes sense for everybody one day, doesn't matter what day, to do their own thing. And then if you can agree before you do your own thing, be like, okay, let's meet here for dinner at this time. That way that gives everybody a notice on when they should leave, how long should it take, and so forth. Now, the last thing is this. This goes back more toward the hotel side of this equation for a minute. If one person pays for the hotel, or motel, or log cabins, whatever you guys choose to do, you need to divide that up by how many there are of you. And that way everybody will pay that person who paid for where they're sleeping the exact same amount. Which will help out a lot.